this out. Basically, as I said before, a lot of people have been complaining about flappy kicks. If you don't know, this move right here is flappy kicks. It's an 8-frame counter hit move that can launch on counter hit. Certain moves in the game gives you flappy kicks on counter hit. Like his jab gives you a flappy kick. Down forward 4 gives you a flappy kick. Down back 4 gives you a flappy kick. Like if any of these land on counter hit, you can't block the flappy kicks. The second hit of this string gives you a flappy kick, but it's inconsistent. You hardly see this happen. I don't think any other move in the game gives you a flappy kick, and the flappy kick itself has an extension, so you get all of that if it lands on counter hit. But if the move, if you get the jab on counter hit and you go for flappy kicks, you can block the last hit. Every one of these transition, you can block the last hit of flappy kicks. That's how it works. Now, what breaks this, and what I think is broken, is when heat is in play. Now, flappy kick is still gonna launch you in heat, and in regular. If you have heat, if you don't have heat, on counter hit, flappy kicks is gonna launch you. What makes this busted in heat is that from the jab, it becomes a launcher. From down back 4, it becomes a launcher. From up 4, it becomes a launcher. Now, the one that people have been complaining about a lot is down back 4 into flappy kicks. But they've been complaining for the wrong reason. Remember, Hwoarang can't block when he's in stance. When he's in stance, he has to like commit to a move, commit to flappy kicks, commit to a power crush. He can't block in stance. That's why he has flappy kicks. Let's break it down a little bit more. So you can still step it. At least that's decent. If you block flappy kicks and you try to punish, you will get launched, right? If he doesn't go into stance, you can punish down back 4 all the time. What high level players do, they do 2 or 3 things. One is just to outright low parry the move. You low parry the move, you don't have to worry about it anymore. That's step 1. You can block the first hit, duck, and then commit to a punish. You can do that, or you can just do a duck jab or a dick jab, because it's a high crusher. So it's just gonna beat it. You're at +6. You can start your own pressure. A lot of people have been complaining about the fact that, as I said before, if you duck and try to punish, the flappy kicks will clip you. But that's working as intended because he can't block from stance. Now I'm pretty sure a Watson and Fool will beat every other option Hwoarang has if he doesn't go for the flappy kicks. But then that beats you right there. But I'm pretty sure if you stop, like if you just do the first hit, you can still block the power crush like that, yeah. Now, everybody's been complaining. Everybody that I've been looking at videos, I've been looking at comments, they've just been complaining about the fact that you can't block down back 4 and punish it if Hwoarang goes into stance because of flappy kicks. That's not the issue. The issue is the fact that he can launch you with this from a counter hit, but the move itself, the flappy kicks itself, doesn't have to be a counter hit. It's a natural hit launcher in heat. So from his jabs, it's a counter hit. From up 4, it's a counter hit. I think that's the issue. Regardless of whether or not Hwoarang is in heat, this should not be launching. This should not be a combo. If he's in heat, if he's not in heat, no circumstance at all should you be eating a launcher from a 10-frame jab because he has flappy kicks. Now, there's a layer beyond it, in my opinion, that nobody's been looking at. This layer is this move right here. It seems innocent. I promise you, this move seems innocent, but it's actually disgusting. Let me see if I can demonstrate it. So it leads into stance and you can do the flappy kicks after, right? It's 0 on block. Flappy kicks comes out in 8 frames. The fastest move I can do off the block in that move is 10 frames, right? So if I jab, I get launched, right? What makes this nasty, because obviously now I have to duck. In this situation, I have to duck. And with this new move they gave Hwoarang in Season 2, it becomes a read of me having to duck, potentially step, but you step flappy kicks, it will clip you. Like, I've tried it before. It will clip you. Right? And where does this become an issue? The real issue is when Hwoarang is in heat. Because now it becomes me blocking a move I can't interrupt or a plus on block mid. That's the issue. This is the issue that I think people should be complaining about, but nobody complains about. I feel like this move should only go into stance if it hits. If it blocks, Hwoarang should just be in neutral and lose his turn completely. I think it becomes an issue of like, are you gonna duck the mid? Or like potentially step and get clipped by flappy kicks. That's what I think the issue is. Like, there should be no reason why he's mixing you off of a punish on block. And then the situation arises now. I have a friend that plays Hwoarang. Like, I don't understand why nobody's been talking about this. I finally figured out how to do it. You get a heat engager, right? You can dash at somebody after a heat engager, standing. You can also dash at somebody in crouch. Now, I have to fight against this move a lot. They go into crouch, +9. You can't interrupt this because it's at +9, right? You're at 0, so you think it's your turn, right? If you mash, the flappy kicks will clip you for a full combo. If you try to duck to beat the flappy kicks, you're at -4. And if you just stand and respect, you're still at -4. The Hwoarang player can continue his pressure. I think that's where the issue is. This move that nobody's been complaining about should not transition into stance at 0 on block. It shouldn't even transition into stance at all if you block it. He should just lose his turn. Like, one person said, oh, down back 4 into flappy kicks is crazy because if you block it, you can't punish it. And then the whole community is just like, nerf down back 4, nerf down back 4, nerf down back 4. If you nerf this move, then you potentially have to give Hwoarang the ability to block when he goes into stance. And I promise you, nobody wants that. Imagine pressured by Hwoarang. You think there's an opening, and then he just blocks. He doesn't have to commit. Hwoarang has to commit to a move to get out of stance. Imagine they be like, okay, you can punish down back 4 every time he goes into stance, but now with every other move he does in the game, and he's in stance, he can just block. Nobody wants that. What they need to do is revert it, so that flappy kicks is not a natural hit launcher in heat. I think that's where the issue is. That's what makes it so cheap and disgusting, but nobody wants to do their own research and think a little bit. Everybody just want to jump to the conclusion that if you block down back 4, you shouldn't be launched. It doesn't make any sense. And then you start to see that you're getting mixed from like a 12 frame safe punish on block, not on hit. You're getting mixed from a punish on block. I think that's what the issue is. That's the issue. Two issues that nobody's been talking about. The fact that flappy kicks is a natural hit launcher, and the fact that this move is 0 on block. And flappy kicks turn the situation into a mix on block, not even on hit, where I have my frames to like mix you on block, because this will kind of hit launch you if you hit a jab. Everybody's been seeing, oh, a down back four into flappy kicks is gonna launch you if you try to punish on block. That's always been the thing, but there have been ways you can like play around it with dick jabs, a low parry, a step, a orbital, depending on your character, a keep out move. There's ways you can play around it, but nobody wants to talk about the real issue, this being a natural hit launcher in heat, and this being safe. And then you can mix it with this if they try to jab, if they try to duck, you got a +4 mid if they're scared. Take the legs all day, and then if they're really scared, transition into stance, continue the pressure. It really starts to become an issue if you actually know how to play the character and how the moves work.
Percocet, Miley Percocet, Percocet, Miley Percocet, Percocet.